Many believe America's economic collapse is something in the distant future. The truth, it's already happening, and most people haven't noticed. Right now, 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Household debt has reached $17.5 trillion. More than half of U.S. adults can't cover a $500 emergency without borrowing. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why multiple triggers are firing simultaneously and how the financial system Americans rely on is quietly crumbling beneath their feet. The current state of the U.S. economy is far from stable. This isn't a slow decline. The breakdown has already started. Millions of Americans depend entirely on their next paycheck. Prices are rising fast, incomes are lagging, and national debt is ballooning at record speeds. In 2024 alone, the U.S. added $1 trillion in new debt every 100 days. Grocery prices are up 28% since 2019. Car insurance has jumped 33% in just 2 years. Electricity bills are rising at the fastest pace since 1981. And foreclosures are up 20% year over year. Meanwhile, U.S. interest payments now exceed Medicare, the military, and nearly every social program except Social Security. The government is borrowing just to pay interest on money it already owes. This isn't stability, it's insolvency with extra steps. The hidden epicenter of the collapse, the U.S. Treasury market, once considered the world's safest investment. Trillions of dollars move through it daily. Now, liquidity is drying up. The Bank for International Settlements confirms $25 trillion in U.S. Treasuries is under stress unseen since March 2020. Back then, the Fed injected over $1 trillion to prevent a bond market freeze. Now, it's happening again, only worse, and with no pandemic to blame. The Treasury has been issuing $1.6 trillion in debt since June, but demand is not keeping up. Foreign buyers like China and Japan are reducing their holdings, and major U.S. institutions are stepping back. Even primary dealers, the banks legally required to buy U.S. debt, are raising red flags. The Federal Reserve has stopped buying and is instead tightening liquidity. Excess supply plus insufficient demand equals falling bond prices and spiking yields, affecting mortgages, car loans, and credit card rates. The Treasury is even considering a buyback program in 2025, essentially buying back its own bonds because no one else wants them. The result? Weakening dollar, rising inflation, and evaporating confidence. 1/5 of publicly traded U.S. companies are now zombie companies, businesses that cannot cover interest on their debt. They survive only by refinancing or issuing junk bonds. Meanwhile, U.S. households have added $1.1 trillion in new consumer debt over the past 2 years, including $1.13 trillion in credit card balances. Zombie companies rely on your spending to stay alive. When refinancing costs hit 7% or more, defaults, bankruptcies, and layoffs will cascade in 2025 to 6. Banks are securitizing zombie debt, similar to 2007 subprime mortgages. Some of that debt may already be in your pension or retirement accounts. According to NERC 2023, 2/3 of the U.S. are at high risk of power outages during peak demand. Why? Decommissioning coal and nuclear faster than renewables are built. EVs, data centers, and electric heating increasing grid load. Aging equipment, average transformer age is 38 years. Cyber threats, extreme weather events. Texas nearly collapsed in 2021, and California regularly shuts off power to prevent fires. The grid wasn't built for this demand. It's operating on the edge of failure. Over the past year, 12 states have reported major insurers partially or fully withdrawing. California, Florida, Colorado, Louisiana, high-risk zones. Rising natural disaster costs mean premiums, deductibles, and coverage are increasingly unaffordable. State-run insurers are filling the gaps, but a single catastrophic hurricane could bankrupt these programs. You'd pay through taxes, assessments, or collapsed municipal bonds. 82% of U.S. homeowners have mortgages under 5%. Current rates hover around 8%, meaning few can sell without financial pain. Inventory is collapsing. Homeowners renovate rather than move. Prices rise, not from strength, but scarcity. Big landlords like Blackstone are buying distressed homes for cash, converting America into a nation of renters.
Median rent hit $2,500 per month in Q4 2024, the highest ever, while wages rise just 3.4%. Millennials and Gen Z are largely shut out of homeownership. Data centers are draining the U.S. power grid. By mid-2024, data centers consumed more electricity than the entire U.S. transportation sector. Goldman Sachs predicts AI-related electricity demand will triple by 2030, surpassing the annual usage of entire states like New Jersey. This energy is pulled from cities and towns, increasing residential bills and threatening blackouts during peak usage. 2024. First time modern central banks sold U.S. treasuries than they bought. China dumped 17B. Japan reduced holdings. Saudi Arabia signed non-dollar oil deals with China and India. BRICS Plus nations are creating alternative gold-backed payment systems. If global demand for dollars drops, the U.S. will face soaring inflation and a weakening economy. Imports, oil, and everyday goods become more expensive. Confidence in the dollar erodes, setting the stage for potential hyperinflation. U.S. cattle herds are at their lowest since 1961. Florida citrus hit by hurricanes. California almond and tomato yields limited by water restrictions. Indian rice export ban spiked global prices 40% in 2 months. Ukraine grain exports disrupted again. Food processors face plant closures, labor shortages, and rising transportation costs. When winter hits or disasters strike, grocery shelves may remain stocked, but prices will spike overnight. The American middle class is now the most over-leveraged group in the economy. Household debt hits $17.5 trillion, including auto loans, student loans, and buy now, pay later schemes. Delinquencies are higher than 2008. Auto repossessions up 26% in Q4 2024. Foreclosures up 34% in Q4 2024. Medical bankruptcies are returning. Average family faces $8,439 in out-of-pocket costs. There's no stimulus, no bailout, no safety net. The collapse isn't coming, it's already happening. The breakdown doesn't look like explosions or chaos. It looks like skipped meals, skipped doctor visits, working weekends, selling furniture to pay bills. No one will come to save you. The system is failing in slow motion. Every prep, every dollar you protect, every item you stock counts. You've seen the collapse triggers. Now decide, are you a spectator or a survivor? Prepare, protect, and plan, not out of fear, but because you are awake. If you want to stay informed and secure your future, like, share, and subscribe to Finance Investing. Knowledge is your most powerful defense.